For most viewers, Goodwill Boston means a place where used items are dropped off or resold. Less well known are what's supported by the commerce, primarily the training programs for people with disabilities. To bring us up to date is our guest from Goodwill Boston, the president and CEO, Joanne Hilferty. Thank you very much for being with us, Joanne.
Thanks for having me.
There's a new way of talking about what you do, this campaign you have, and I guess it has to do with creating jobs.
Yes. Well, from the very beginning, and Goodwill International started right here in Boston, we've been about helping people with barriers to self-sufficiency get to work. But most people think of clothing and good works and not jobs. So there's a new national campaign that the Ad Council is doing on a pro bono basis to try and get the word out. And what it says is donate stuff, create jobs. And it helps people really think Goodwill's about work.
Well, the most visible jobs are the people in the shops who sell things and who stock the racks. But what about the other jobs? I mean, what happens when I drop something off?
Well, I think we get an incredible value for the donation that you and so many generous people in the area make. It's an opportunity for people in training to sort and hang and tag the goods. We provide training opportunities in the stores for people who are transitioning off welfare or in another program where they want to get into the workplace. We also use the clothes for many of our community partners like Pine Street Inn and Rosie's Place. And we then take everything and sell the final goods so that we get maximum value to support our programs.
What kind of things do people learn in the training programs?
So Goodwill last year here in eastern and central Massachusetts served about 10,000 people in our job training and career programs. Some of them had significant disabilities and they were in a slow process of learning skills to be able to work part-time. Some of them were individuals transitioning off welfare who really wanted to get the basic work readiness skills to go back to work and get a job and support themselves. Some of them wanted a particular skill. So we help people for entry-level jobs in human services, and some were short or long-term unemployed that needed help getting work. So we work with a broad array of people. What they share is one, a need for a job, and two, a strong desire to go to work so they can support themselves and their families.
So it sounds like there's a mixture of things here. On one hand, you want to help people realize at least the maximum of their capabilities, but I guess on the other hand, you just want to re-engage people with work.
For many people who haven't worked in a while, maybe they lost their job and they never thought they'd have trouble getting another one, and time goes on, it gets harder and harder to re-enter that job search process. So we provide them the supports and the training and the encouragement, and as importantly, we bring in employers. Last year we brought in 120 employers on site with real jobs so people could tell their story and get considered for real work.
You have a program called HELP, and this involves training for work in human services.
Yes.
Explain that a bit.
So the Human Service Worker Program, we started 10 years ago because it's a very big part of our economy. There are about 250,000 jobs in Massachusetts helping people with developmental disabilities or in senior centers or individuals with substance abuse problems. So there are a lot of jobs that are going to stay local, and people need some basic skills to be able to work in that. They need to understand boundaries, they need to understand record keeping, they need to understand sometimes medical administration. So we provide an 8-week program to give them the skills to start a career in that field. And then we have a dozen employers who are part of that collaboration who come into the classroom, give them training, but also interview them and bring them onto their workforce. So that collaboration with business and people looking for work is key to what we do. And that program for 10 years has helped people move in and move up in that field.
I want to talk about the other part of this, which is the donations. What's fit to donate?
So anything you might hand off to someone in your family or someone you know. Not a judgment of style, because your style and my style are probably quite different, but things that are in basically good condition, and it can be clothing, housewares, books, records, all sorts of things. We have people who are interested in those kinds of items, and by giving them to us, you're creating great value for your community.
I have to ask you, because I've seen these stories lately about people who have other options going to thrift shops.
Well, thrift has become pretty hip, and I'd say particularly in the younger crowd, because This is a generation that's interested in recycle and reuse. They don't want to waste things. They've done that since they were young. And also, they're looking for something a little different. We actually have a group of fashionista bloggers that follow Goodwill that'll go to the stores and write about what they found and why it's unique and interesting. So today, I think that there's a lot of interest across the spectrum in going to thrift because of the variety it offers and the value. And then you've got core shoppers that have been coming to Goodwill for a long time because that's where they can get good quality items for themselves and their families at a really good price.
I know you've got these shops around Boston, and I've spent some time with them.
Good for you.
What's intriguing is all the different kinds of people you get, because you go to another store, people are basically grouped by the what they can afford.
Right.
Here it's all kinds of things.
It's quite a cross section. You really see all of Boston in one of our stores, or all of Worcester in our Worcester store, and you see folks who are looking for that one-of-a-kind find, and they love the thrill of the hunt. You see people who really need that jacket for their kid because it got cold today. You see people who really don't want to spend $100 for a white button-down collar shirt, and they know if they go through the rack at Goodwill, they'll find a good one. So it really is a cross-section, and it's young and old, black and white, Latino shoppers. Really, everybody comes to Goodwill.
What about the dropping off? I am familiar with the location, Harrison Avenue in Roxbury. Any other places people should know about?
Well, we have 38 sites in eastern and central Massachusetts. They can go on our website and find where to drop things off. All of our stores take them, and people tend to find how to drop them off. And we're really grateful for that, because it's only because of the generosity of our donors that we're able to do all the good work that we do.
Thank you very much for being with us. Joanne Hilferty from Goodwill Boston.